Welcome back to OldCoin Secrets, where small coins tell big stories. What if I told you that a single penny, yes, just 1 cent, could be worth more than $100,000 today? A coin that wasn't even supposed to exist, yet somehow, it slipped through the hands of U.S. mint workers and into history. Today we uncover the mystery of the 1944 D steel penny, one of America's most famous minting mistakes, a wartime accident turned collector's dream, the wartime coin change. To understand the 1944 D steel cent, we need to go back to World War II. By 1943, copper was desperately needed for ammunition, shell casings, and communication wires, so the U.S. Mint made a radical decision. Stop making copper pennies. In 1943, they switched to zinc-coated steel, giving those pennies a shiny, silver-like appearance. But there was one problem. They rusted easily, stuck to magnets, and confused people who thought they were dimes. By 1944, the war effort was shifting, and copper was once again available. The mint decided to return to traditional bronze pennies, made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. However, during this transition, something strange happened. The birth of an error. When the Denver Mint started striking 1944 pennies, it used bronze planchets, small, blank discs ready to be stamped, but hidden in the machinery were leftover steel planchets from 1943. No one noticed. As the presses rolled, a few of these steel planchets got struck with 1944 dies, creating the now legendary 1944 D steel cent. This was never supposed to happen. Only a handful escaped into circulation, and those few coins would later become some of the most sought-after pennies in U.S. history. How to identify a genuine 1944 D steel cent. So how do you know if you've got one of these rare treasures? Here's what makes the 1944 D steel cent stand out. 1. Color and magnetism. Unlike regular 1944 bronze cents, the steel version looks silver gray and sticks to a magnet. 2. Mint mark. Look for the small D below the date. It means it was struck at the Denver Mint. 3. Weight. The coin should weigh about 2.7 grams, compared to 3.1 grams for copper cents. 4. No plating tricks. Some people try to plate 1944 bronze coins to look silver, but real steel cents have a distinct magnetic pull and color tone that experts can spot immediately. For authentication, only PCGS or NGC certified coins are trusted in the numismatic world. Market value and auction records. Let's talk about what everyone wants to know. How much is it worth? The 1944 D steel cent is one of the most valuable error pennies in history. Here's what collectors have paid. Grade Mao condition. Estimated value USD. Fine. F12 F20. $20,000. $40,000. Extremely fine XF40. $50,000. $75,000. Uncirculated MS60 MS63. $80,000. 100,000 plowers. Gem MSA Session Fine Plus. $150,000, 200,000 plus, one of the best preserved examples, sold for $180,000 at a Heritage Auctions event. That's for a coin that literally cost 1 cent to make. Even worn examples, and if authentic, can still fetch 5 figures. Why the 1944 D steel cent is so famous? This coin's fame isn't just about money. It's about mystery and timing. The fact that it was created by accident, during one of America's most important historical periods, gives it enormous sentimental and historic value. Collectors call it the ghost of the war years, because it represents that fleeting moment when the U.S. Mint was shifting gears between wartime and peace. It's also symbolic, a reminder of how even a small mistake can turn into something extraordinary. In coin collecting circles, the 1944 D steel cent sits alongside legends like the 1913 Liberty Nickel, the 1933 Double Eagle, and the 1943 copper penny. Avoiding counterfeits. Because of its fame and value, counterfeits are everywhere. Here's how to avoid being fooled. Don't trust color alone. Some regular copper pennies are coated in steel-colored plating to look fake. Use a magnet. The genuine 1944 D steel cent is magnetic. Copper ones are not. Check the date. Some people alter 1943 steel cents to read 1944. Use a magnifier to check for tampering. Always buy certified. If it's not graded by PCGS or NGC, assume it's fake until proven real. Rarity breakdown. Experts estimate that only 7 to 10 genuine 1944D steel cents exist today. That's right, fewer than 10 verified examples. That's rarer than many gold coins, rarer than most errors, and infinitely rarer than its 1943 copper counterpart. For perspective, out of billions of pennies minted during the 1940s, less than 10 genuine 1944D steel cents are known. Legacy and collector's appeal. The 1944D steel cent is a legend among collectors. It symbolizes the intersection of history, error, and luck, a simple oversight that became one of the crown jewels of American coinage. If you ever come across a silvery penny dated 1944 with a D mark, don't spend it. Hold it tight, get it authenticated, and you might just be holding a fortune. That's the incredible story of the 1944D steel penny, the wartime mistake worth a small fortune. Coin number 2, 1944p steel cent, the silver phantom of Philadelphia. A penny that shines like silver, a coin that was never meant to exist, and a minting error so rare, collectors call it the phantom penny. Today, we're diving into the incredible story of the 1944p steel cent, a mysterious coin from Philadelphia that shouldn't have survived the presses, yet somehow did and is now worth a small fortune. The year everything changed. In 1943, the U.S. Mint replaced copper with steel to save metal for World War II. Those 1943 steel pennies were bright, silvery, and lightweight, a true symbol of wartime sacrifice. But they were unpopular. People confused them with dimes. They rusted in circulation and many disliked the look. So in 1944, the Mint decided to return to copper, melting down spent shell casings from the war to make new bronze planchets. The transition seemed smooth, until a few strange silvery coins from 1944 started showing up. They weren't bronze, they were steel, just like the year before. And the rarest of them all came from Philadelphia, marked with a tiny letter P. How the 1944p steel cent was born. When the Mint switched back to copper planchets, a few leftover steel blanks from 1943 were accidentally left inside the coin presses. Those blanks got mixed in with the new bronze planchets, and when the dies started striking, a few 1944 coins were printed on steel instead of copper. That's how the 1944p steel cent was created. An honest mistake that turned into one of the greatest numismatic mysteries in history. Each coin was pressed, released into circulation, and then vanished into people's pockets, unnoticed for decades. It wasn't until collectors began noticing the odd silvery 1944 pennies that the world realized something extraordinary had happened. How to identify the 1944p steel penny. So how do you know if your 1944 penny is the legendary steel one? Here's the checklist every collector uses. 1. Color. The 1944p steel cent is a bright, silver-gray coin, not the reddish-brown of normal copper pennies. 2. Magnet test. Hold a magnet near it. If it sticks, it's steel. If it doesn't, it's copper. 3. Weight. It should weigh about 2.7 grams. Lighter than a regular copper cent, 3.1 grams. 4. Mint market. Look carefully. The small p below the date means it was minted in Philadelphia, and those are among the rarest. 4. Certification. Because counterfeits exist, genuine examples must be certified by PCGS or NGC. 5. If your coin passes these tests, congratulations, you might be holding a six-figure treasure. The value of the 1944p steel cent. Let's talk money. The 1944p steel cent isn't just rare, it's one of the most valuable pennies in existence. Here's what collectors have paid for them over the years. Condition not grade. Value, USD, fine, F12, F20, $30,000, $60,000, extremely fine XF40, $75,000, $100,000, mint state, MS60, MS63, $110,000, $150,000, gem MS65 plus, $200,000, $300,000. In one famous sale, a 1944p steel cent in pristine condition sold for $250,000, turning a 1-cent coin into a $250,000 miracle. Only a handful of these exist, making them as legendary as the 1943 copper penny or the 1913 Liberty nickel. Why it's so rare. What makes the 1944p steel cent so special isn't just the money. It's the story. The Philadelphia Mint didn't use mint marks in 1943, but it resumed them in 1944. So the P mint mark connects this coin directly to the first year after the war's metal crisis. Experts estimate fewer than 15 genuine examples were ever struck, making it rarer than diamonds, rarer than gold, and rarer than nearly every U.S. error coin ever discovered. Imagine, out of billions of pennies made, only a handful were born of error and survival. Beware of fakes. Where there's fame, there's forgery. Because the 1944 P steel cent is so valuable, many counterfeits circulate in the market. Here's how to avoid being fooled. Plated copper trick. Some regular 1944. Copper pennies are coated with steel or nickel to mimic the silver color, but they won't stick to a magnet the same way genuine steel does. Altered 1943 coins. Some counterfeiters take 1943 steel cents and change the 3 to a 4. Look, closely under magnification. The alteration marks are often visible. Weight test and always weigh your coin. Real steel cents weigh about 2.7 grams. Copper-plated fakes are heavier. Professional grading. If you think you found one, don't clean it. Don't polish it. Just send it for grading immediately. Historical context. The 1944 P steel cent is more than a minting error. It's a snapshot of American resilience. It captures the exact moment when the U.S. was shifting from war production back to peace, reusing war materials and rebuilding the nation's economy. Each of these rare coins is like a small silver monument, a reminder of how precision, pressure, and a touch of human error can make history. Where they are now. So where are these rare coins today? Most are locked in private collections, graded and sealed in protective holders. A few belong to museums and serious numismatists. And every once in a while, one surfaces, shocking the world again with a six-figure auction. Each time it sparks hope in treasure hunters everywhere. That maybe, just maybe, there's still one out there, sitting quietly in someone's old coin jar, waiting to be discovered. The 1944 P steel cent is proof that mistakes can be masterpieces, and that history sometimes hides in the smallest corners of our change. If you ever find a silvery penny from 1944, test it with a magnet, because that 1-cent coin might just change your life forever. Coin number 3, 1917 doubled. Die Lincoln cent, the hidden treasure of early U.S. mint errors. What if I told you that one of America's earliest Lincoln cents, nearly invisible to the naked eye, hides a secret twin image struck by mistake? A rare error so subtle that millions of people have held it in their hands without ever knowing. This is the story of the 1917 doubled die Lincoln cent, a coin born from precision, pressure, and human imperfection, now worth thousands of dollars to those sharp enough to spot it. The birth of a classic. In 1909, the Lincoln cent was introduced to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. The design by Victor David Brenner became an instant icon. Lincoln's detailed portrait on the obverse, 2 wheat ears symbolizing prosperity on the reverse. Fast forward to 1917, the nation was deep in the turmoil of World War I. The mint was producing millions of pennies each month to meet demand. But in that rush, in that endless repetition of striking and pressing, something rare happened. A small alignment error created one of the most famous doubled dies in U.S. numismatic history. What is a doubled die? Before machines could automatically align dies, mint workers had to manually impress designs onto steel dies used for striking coins. Each working die was created by multiple impressions from a master hub. If the die shifted even slightly between those impressions, the result was a doubled image. When that flawed die was used to strike thousands of coins, every single one carried that same doubling, a kind of accidental ghost image. That's exactly what happened in 1917, and unlike later, more obvious errors like the 1955 doubled die, this one was subtle, easy to miss yet extremely rare. How to identify the 1917 doubled die penny? To the untrained eye, the 1917 penny looks ordinary, just another old Lincoln cent. But collectors know where to look. Here are the key signs. 1. Date doubling. The 1917 shows clear, thick shadowing, and especially on the 1s and 7. 2. Lettering. The phrase, "In God We Trust," displays heavy doubling on the letters G, O, D, W, and T. 3. Mint location. Most genuine doubled dies come from the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. 4. Reverse only. The doubling appears on Lincoln's head side, not the wheat reverse. 5. Under magnification using a jeweler's loupe. You'll notice distinct outlines, not blurry, like a mechanical doubling but crisp and separate. If your 1917 penny matches these details, you may be holding one of the earliest known doubled die cents, and it could be worth a small fortune. The value of the 1917 doubled die cent. This coin's rarity is enhanced by the fact that most people never noticed it, and those that did often spent it long ago. Today its value depends on condition. Condition not grade. Estimated value USD. Fine. F12 F20. $400 $600. Very fine VF30. $700 $1,000. Extremely fine XF40. $4,500 $2,000. Mint state MS60 MS63. $3,000 $5,000. Gem MS65 plus. $8,000 $15,000. In auction history, one spectacular 1917 double die Lincoln cent graded MS66, read by PCGS, sold for over $20,000. Them proof that even the smallest minting flaw can transform an ordinary penny into a legendary treasure. Why it happened. During 1917, the U.S. Mint was under immense pressure to meet wartime production demands. Tens of millions of cents were needed to keep commerce flowing during shortages and inflation. Because each die was hand-hubbed multiple times, the process left room for human error. If the die shifted just a fraction between hub impression, doubling appeared. But what makes the 1917 error especially fascinating is that the Mint didn't catch it. The flawed die was used for a full run, producing thousands of coins before it wore out. No one at the time realized they were minting what would later become a six-figure collectible. The difference between true doubling and machine doubling. Collectors often confuse the 1917 double die with common mechanical doubling, but they're not the same. True double die occurs when the die itself is doubled during creation. Every coin struck by it will show the same doubling pattern. Machine doubling happens when the coin shifts slightly during striking. It produces flat, shelf-like doubling and is far less valuable. The 1917 doubled die is a true double die, meaning its doubling is sharp, consistent and collectible. Certified rarity. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC have authenticated fewer than 400 examples of the 1917 double die. Of those, only a handful are in mint state condition, making high-grade examples extremely rare. Even circulated pieces are considered valuable historic errors from the earliest years of the Lincoln series. Experts agree this coin bridges the gap between the primitive minting era of the 1910s and the more refined, automated production of later decades. It's one of the foundation coins for any serious Lincoln cent collection. A collector's dream. The 1917 double die Lincoln cent isn't just a piece of copper. It's a piece of American history. It connects three worlds. The early industrial era, when handcraft and machinery worked side by side. The World War I era, when the nation was transforming under pressure. And the numismatic world, where small details can create big legends. It's a reminder that even in mass production, individuality can slip through, a tiny mark of imperfection that becomes a masterpiece. So next time you come across an old Lincoln penny from the 1910s, don't dismiss it as pocket change. Take a closer look, especially at the date and the motto above Lincoln's head. Because in those faint doubled lines may lie a story over a century old, and a coin worth thousands of dollars. The 1917 doubled die proves one thing: even the smallest mistake can make history. Coin number 4, 1999, Wide AM, Lincoln cent, the modern penny. Mistake worth hundreds. Imagine finding a penny from your spare change, shiny, ordinary, from 1999, and realizing it could be worth hundreds of dollars. No silver, no gold, just one tiny difference in two letters, A and M. Welcome to one of the most famous modern minting errors of the Lincoln cent series. The 1999 Wide AM penny, a coin that turned everyday pocket change into hidden treasure. The background: why 1999 matters. By the late 1990s, the Lincoln Memorial cent had already been in circulation for decades, since 1959. It featured the familiar design by Frank Gasparro, showing Lincoln's statue inside the memorial on the reverse. But as the U.S. Mint prepared for the upcoming Millennium and 2009 redesigns, it was producing coins using multiple dies for both business strikes, circulation, and proof coins, collector sets. And here's where the mix-up happened. Somewhere in 1999, proof dies, meant only for collector coins, were accidentally used to strike a small batch of regular business cents. The difference was barely visible, but it made history. What is the wide AM error? On most Lincoln Memorial cents, the letters A and M in the word America are close together. Their base is almost touching. That's the normal design, used on all circulation coins from 1993 to 2008. But the proof version had a slightly different design, the wide AM. On those coins, the space between A and M is clearly wider, creating a subtle yet unmistakable difference. When the Mint accidentally used that proof die on regular coins, it created the 1999 wide AM variety, a small error that would become one of the most popular discoveries among collectors and roll hunters. How to identify a 1999 wide AM penny? Finding one isn't hard, but you need a sharp eye. Here's what to look for. 1. Reverse side, America. On the normal coin, the A and M are almost touching. On the wide AM, there's a distinct gap between them. 2. Position of FG initials. The designer's initials FG, for Frank Gasparro, are further from the memorial on the wide AM coin. On regular coins, they're much closer to the base of the memorial. 3. Mint mark. Only Philadelphia minted coins, marked 1999 without a mint mark, are known with this error. 4. Condition. Even circulated examples are valuable, but uncirculated ones are where the real money lies. So grab a magnifying glass and check your 9 pennies. Like, the difference is small, but the reward can be big. Value and market prices. The 1999 wide AM cent has become a modern classic among U.S. error coins. Here's a general idea of its value today. Condition not grade. Estimated value USD. Circulated fine VF 20, 60. Extremely fine XF 40, 75, 100. Uncirculated MS60, MS63, 40, 300. Gem uncirculated MS65, MS67, $400, 800 pliers. Record auction MS67 red, over $2,000. The price depends on strike quality, color, red, brown, or brown, and overall preservation. Collectors especially chase red, full luster examples, because most 1999 pennies circulated heavily, making pristine coins rare. The mystery. How did it happen? Experts believe that sometime during late 1998 or early 1999, a proof reverse die meant for collector coins accidentally entered the production line for circulation coins at the Philadelphia Mint. It wasn't discovered immediately, so thousands, possibly tens of thousands, were struck and released into normal circulation. When collectors first identified the wide AM variety in 2000, excitement exploded. People began hoarding 1999 pennies, searching through rolls, bags, and jars in hopes of finding one. It became a modern-day treasure hunt, just like the 1955 double die decades earlier. Related wide AM and close AM varieties. The 1999 wide AM isn't the only member of this strange family of minting mix-ups. 1998 wide AM. Similar proof die error, also valuable but slightly more common. 2000 wide AM, another rare variation from the same mistake. 2 and 1992 D close AM, the opposite type of error, where proof dies were used for earlier designs, even rarer and worth thousands. These varieties show how a simple design difference, barely a millimeter apart, can create some of the most collectible modern cents ever made. Why collectors love it. The 1999 wide AM Lincoln cent represents a turning point, the moment when modern coins became just as collectible as old ones. For years, collectors believed all post-1960 pennies were too common to be valuable. Then this error shattered that myth. It proved that rare mistakes still happen, even in the age of advanced technology and precision minting. Today, collectors of all levels, from beginners to professionals, look for wide AMs. It's a must-have in any complete Lincoln cent variety set. Tips to spot fakes or misidentified coins. Because of its popularity, Fake wide AM listings often appear online. Here's how to protect yourself. Compare the spacing in America to a verified example. You can find photos on PCGS or NGC. Don't confuse it with the 1998 or 2000 varieties. Check the date carefully. Always confirm with a magnifier or microscope, not just your eyes. For high-value coins, send it to PCGS, NGC, or ANAX for certification. Even a genuine coin worth $20 can jump to 500 plus when it's authenticated and graded properly. Legacy of the 1999 Wide AM. The 1999 Wide AM penny is proof that history can still be found in your pocket. It bridges the old and the new. A 20th century design struck at the edge of the digital age, when even modern machines made very human mistakes. And that's what makes it beautiful. It's not just an error. It's a connection to the craftsmanship, the precision, and the unpredictability of the mint itself. For collectors, it's a thrill of discovery. For everyone else, it's a reminder. Sometimes the most ordinary things hide extraordinary secrets. So before you toss that 1999 penny into a jar, take a closer look. Because if that little A and M are wide apart, you might be holding a modern-day treasure worth hundreds, even thousands. The 1999 Wide AM Lincoln Cent is living proof that rare coins don't just belong to the past. They might still be hiding in your change today. Coin number 5, the 1983 Double Die Reverse Cent. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating error coins in modern U.S. history, the 1983 Double Die Reverse Lincoln Cent. It might look like an ordinary penny, but don't be fooled. This small copper-colored coin hides a secret worth thousands of dollars. Let's uncover the mystery, the minting error, and the collector frenzy behind this ultra-rare 1983 DDR cent. The historical context, a year of change. To understand the 1983 Double Die Reverse Cent, we need to step back to the early 1980s and a time when the U.S. Mint was making big changes. In 1982, due to rising copper prices, the Mint decided to stop making pennies from solid copper. Before that, each Lincoln cent was 95% copper, and each 1 cent coin actually cost more than a cent to make. To save money, the Mint switched to a cheaper metal, a zinc core with a thin copper plating. This change reduced the penny's weight from 311 grams to 2.5 grams, and that's when the new minting process began for the 1983 issues. But during that transition, a strange and unexpected minting error occurred, one that no one at the Mint noticed until collectors discovered it years later. The minting error, a double die by accident. The U.S. Mint uses hardened steel dies to strike coins. Each die contains an engraved design, one for the obverse, front, and one for the reverse, back. During production, these dies are created using a process called hubbing, where the design is pressed into the die multiple times to ensure detail and depth. If the hub and die are not perfectly aligned during these impressions, a doubling occurs, and that's exactly what happened in 1983. A single reverse die received 2 impressions slightly out of alignment, causing parts of the reverse design, especially the lettering, to appear doubled when coins were struck. This wasn't a typical strike doubling, which is common and worth little. No, this was a true hub doubling, a much rarer form of minting error that permanently affects the die itself. That means every coin struck from that die carries the same doubled details, a clear sign of a true double die reverse. How to spot a genuine 1983 double die reverse. Now let's talk about what makes this coin special and how you can identify it. The doubling appears only on the reverse back of the coin, which features the Lincoln Memorial. At first glance, it might look normal, but if you look closer, especially with a magnifying glass or coin loop, you'll see the signs. United States of America. Each letter seems to have a faint shadow, a second outline beneath or beside it. E pluribus unum. This Latin phrase above the memorial shows very strong doubling. One of the most obvious features, 1 cent. The denomination lettering at the bottom looks thicker and shows a ghosted secondary image behind the main letters. Under good lighting, the doubling almost jumps out at you. It's crisp, not blurry, a key detail that separates a real double die from machine doubling. If you find these signs, don't spend that penny. You might be holding a collector's treasure. Technical details. Minted 1983 Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. Composition 97.5% zinc, 2.5% copper plating, weight 2.5 grams. Diameter 1905 millimeters. Designer, Victor David Brenner. Initials VDB on the shoulder. Edge plain. Even though it's made from inexpensive metal, the error itself gives it enormous value, far beyond its face worth of 1 cent. Market value and auction records. Now let's talk about what everyone wants to know, the value. The 1983 double die reverse cent is one of the most sought-after modern Lincoln cent errors. In circulated condition, these coins often sell for $100 to $300, depending on clarity and wear. In uncirculated condition, prices jump dramatically, ranging from $500 to $500. For mint state, MS66 to MS67 red grades certified by PCGS or NGC, prices can exceed $2,000 to $2,500 at auction. The most pristine examples, those with perfect doubling and bright red luster, are considered trophy pieces among Lincoln cent collectors. And as collector interest in U.S. error coins keeps growing, the value of high-grade examples continues to rise. Why collectors love the 1983 DDR. Collectors adore this coin for several reasons. 1. Modern rarity. It's a relatively new coin post-1980s, so finding one in circulation is a thrilling discovery. 2. Reverse doubling. Most double dies feature errors on the obverse, Lincoln's portrait. Reverse doubling is much rarer and visually striking. 3. Transitional significance. It came right after the 1982 metal composition change, marking the start of a new penny era. 4. Affordable entry. Unlike some 1955 or 1969s, double dies worth tens of thousands, this one's still affordable, making it perfect for new collectors. Each of these reasons contributes to its growing popularity, especially as people rediscover coin collecting through YouTube and social media. Tips for searching. If you want to find one yourself, here's how to start. Check every 1983 penny that crosses your path, even pocket change or old jars at home. Use strong light and magnification. Doubling is subtle but clear once spotted. Compare your coin with verified images from PCGS CoinFacts or NGC Coin Explorer. Avoid cleaning your coin. That can lower its value drastically. If you believe you found a real DDR, get it authenticated and graded. Professional certification not only confirms authenticity but also significantly boosts its market value. Interesting fact, a hidden story behind the mint. There's an interesting mystery surrounding this coin. Many experts believe the die that produced the 1983 DDR was used for only a very limited number of strikes before being retired. That explains why so few examples exist today. Estimates suggest fewer than 5,000 genuine 1983 double die reverse cents are known, a tiny number, compared to the hundreds of millions of normal 1983 pennies minted. This low survival rate makes it one of the key error coins in modern U.S. numismatics. Comparison with other double dies. Let's put it in perspective. The 1955 double die obverse is the most famous, valued up to $20,000 in top grade. The 1969 S double die obverse has reached $40,000+, but the 1983 DDR, despite being newer, still holds strong, a clear favorite among collectors of modern error coins. Its fame continues to grow because it's one of the few major double dies from the zinc penny era. Why it still matters today. Even decades later, the 1983 double die reverse teaches us an important lesson, that even in an age of high-tech minting, human error can still create treasures. Collectors love it not just for its value, but for what it represents. A small mistake that slipped through the hands of machines, survived countless transactions, and somehow found its way into the hands of a lucky collector. It's a story of chance, discovery, and hidden worth. Everything that makes coin collecting magical. The 1983 double die reverse cent is more than just an error coin. It's a time capsule of America's minting history. It reminds us that even something as ordinary as a penny can hold extraordinary value, if you know what to look for. So next time you pick up a handful of change, take a second look at those 1983 pennies. You might just find one with that mysterious doubling, that subtle shadow on the reverse, and realize you're holding a $2,000 piece of U.S. history, a simple penny with a doubled design, and a doubled value. The 1983 double die reverse cent. Proof that history can still hide in your pocket. And there you have it. 5 of the most incredible and valuable Lincoln pennies ever discovered in U.S. history, from the mysterious 1944 steel cents to the legendary 1983 double die reverse. Each of these tiny coins carries a story of luck, rarity, and pure collector magic. It's amazing to think that something as small as a penny, something most of us overlook every single day, could be worth thousands or even millions of dollars. That's the beauty of coin collecting. You never know when history might be sitting right in the palm of your hand. Tell us in the comments, which of these rare pennies would you want to find someday? And if you've ever spotted something unusual in your change, we'd love to hear your story too. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like this video to support rare coin content, subscribe to OldCoin Secrets for more incredible discoveries, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss the next upload about hidden treasures from U.S. history. Because here at OldCoin Secrets, every coin tells a story, and the next one might just change your life. OldCoin Secrets, where every cent has a secret.